Graphs of proportional relationships. Now, this man said, I don't need to see the numbers. Just by looking at your graph, I know if you have a constant rate of change. I know if the growth is proportional. Wow, how can he do that? Look, there are no numbers exactly on the lines or on the points here. And how would you know? Just by looking at it, if it is proportion or not. Guess what? You can be like this expert. You will know if it's proportion or not. Let's have an example. Now, Jeremy can capture an average of 8 Pokemons in 2 hours. So how can you write that? You could write it as a rate, right? You compare two things. So these are 8 over 2, 8 Pokemons over 2 hours. You could write 8 to 2. The first one is as a fraction. The second one using the word 2, or you could use the colon 8 to 2. All right. Now, so we are comparing two different quantities, and that's the Pokemons, but it's related to the hours. Now, let's continue with this. Remember, 8 to 2. Now, remember this one, the 8 to 2? That's what we know from the story. But guess what? You can easily get the unit rate. The unit rate is so important for us. So how did I do that? Divide by 2 on top, divide by 2 below. Now we get 4 is to 1. Now I call it a unit rate. Okay, so we call it a unit rate is the rate in which what? The other quantity is equated to 1. So 4 Pokemons for 1 hour. So remember that. Once you know the unit rate, you will know a lot. Let's erase this. Okay. Why? How can I predict the others? Easy. Check this out. So for 3 hours, it will be 12. How did you do that? Easy. Because the pattern is times 3 below, times 3 on top. So for 5 hours, what did we do? Times 5 below, therefore on top, that's also be times 5. Below now for 10, that's times 10 below. 4 times 10 is 40. Guess what? If I know the unit rate, I can even know smaller quantities less than 1. If that is divide by 2, therefore 4 divided by 2 is 2. If I divide 1 by 4, I get 1/4. Therefore, 4 divided by 4 is also 1/4. Remember that. Whatever you do below, you do on top, and whatever you do on top, you do below. You can multiply or divide. So now I know the unit rate. Okay, now I know the unit rate. Next, I will graph the information. So that's easy because 1 is to 4, 2, got 8 Pokemons, 3, we got 12 Pokemons. They skipped 4, and now we got 5. There are 20 Pokemons captured. Now, look at this graph. I can connect these points. If I extend those points, it will extend up to this part. Okay, I can extend it going up as well. All right, examine that graph. Guess what? If your graph looks like this, you can say it is a proportion. There is a proportional relationship between the Pokemons and the number of hours. Okay, let's write down our observations. What did we observe from that graph? Okay, from that graph, what can we say? Number one, the points are in a straight line. Okay. All right. What else? There is no point outside the line. There is no extra point. Like, for example, there is no extra point here. Right? There's no extra point there. There's no extra point there. They're all in one straight line. Awesome. What else? When extended, the line touches the origin. Remember that? That's the origin. That's the 0, comma, 0. When x is 0, y is also 0. It touches the origin. So those are the two conditions we learned. Now, let's look at another example. Now, Jediah captured certain Pokemons at different hours. So we don't need to solve. These are the results. Now, when we graph this, we want to know how different will this graph be with our first graph. Okay, are we ready to graph it? So we got this one. I'm just plotting it ahead of time so that you could see. All right. Now, is it, look at this. This is kind of different from the other one, right? Is there a way for me to connect all these points and be on a straight line? I can't, right? You have to curve it and move it. All right, so it's not possible. So remember that graph. Remember that graph. And let's write our observations. Like I said, the points do not lie on a straight line. They're all over the place. Number two, a line cannot contain all the points. I cannot, maybe you could use the line somewhere there, but that's not a straight line. Okay, what else? When extended, it doesn't touch the origin. It doesn't touch this. A while ago, we touched the origin, but here, it doesn't touch the origin. So therefore, guys, you can already conclude, no way. This doesn't show proportional relationship. The number of Pokemons captured is not consistent throughout the hours. So again, let's say graph number one is proportional. Why? Because for every hour, there is the same number of Pokemons captured. We saw that a while ago. For every hour, 4 Pokemons. But the second one, no, not proportional. For every hour, there are different number of Pokemons captured. Okay, there is no constant random Pokemons captured per hour. So let's look at those graphs. So we already know that to make a relationship proportional just by looking at a graph, condition one, all the points lie on a straight line. In a straight line, okay? What else? Number two, when extended, remember that, when extended, the line should pass through the origin or 0, 0. So what can you say? This graph over here, this graph over here is proportional. Okay, let's put a check on that. And this graph over here, it is what? Not proportional because it doesn't follow the two conditions. Okay, we ready? Let's have some practice. Okay, proportion or not. Number one. Let's see. You are a straight line. Check. Okay. Oh, wow. Look, if I extend it, it only stops here. So what can we say? It is not a proportion because it does not touch the origin. Remember, the two conditions should be met. The second one, think. What do you think? Write your answer in the chat. Come on, write it in the chat. I'm waiting. Write it down. Okay, let's check. Good. You're right. It's proportion because it's a why? Reason? All points lie on a straight line and it touches the origin. Good job. Next, number three. Think, think, think. Write your answer in the chat. Okay, good. Let's see. Not a proportion. You thought it's a proportion, right? Check again. Open your eyes and look at this. It does not touch the origin. It did not touch 0, 0. It went beyond that. So not a proportion. Be careful, guys. The two conditions should be met. Next, number four. What do you think? Yes, it's a proportion. It met the two conditions. Good job. Okay, now think again. Proportion or not? Oh, it touched the origin. Yes, it touched. Be careful. It is not a proportion because why? Points are not on a straight line. Obviously, it's crooked. Duh. All right, the next one. Same thing. Not a proportion because points are not in a straight line, even though it touches the origin. Now, your time to practice. Again, pause the video, answer in the scrap paper, then play the video so we could check your answer. Ready? Okay, here we go. Number 7. Answer, not a proportion, does not touch the origin. Number 8, pause. Answer, not a proportion. Yes, those curved lines doesn't show proportion. Number 7, pause. Answer, here we go. Proportion. Yes, it met the two conditions. Number 8, touches the origin. Um, Pause. Answer, not a proportion because it's curved. It's not in a straight line. Next, not a proportion. Reason, points are not in a straight line. Look at this bended part. This part is different from that part. What else? Last, pause. Answer, write your answer in the chat. This is tricky. Look again. All right, let's see if you're right. Proportion. Are you sure? I didn't see that it touched the origin. Remember our condition? When extended. So when I extend that in a straight path, straight line, it will eventually touch the origin. So if you have paper and pen, use an actual ruler so you could see if it touches the origin. See now? Now let's summarize. How will I know if a graph is a graph of a proportional relationship? Just by looking without actual numbers. Again, condition 1, say it. Yes, all points lie in a straight line. Condition 2, say it. Yes. You're right. When extended, the line should pass through the origin. All right. So good luck, visual thinkers. Have a great day. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video.